Hi,
I'm Kevin.
I'm Kristen.
We are Marriage in the Buff, where we talk about everything marriage, the way God intended it, naked, both physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally.
And how some people go through some tough times and some ways people have gotten through those tough times.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been on break for a little bit here. We did a whole season and all was good. And then life got really busy.
I think that spring is our really busy season, even though I wouldn't have thought that. But as we're walking through life, there's a rhythm to everything, but spring is just is like everything at once.
Yeah, I think, number one, well, I started a new job, so that was a big
that's true. And that
transition. So my time changed and everything with that. But we had Easter, which was crazy busy.
Mm-hmm.
Then we
had our marriage conference before Easter.
And we had a marriage conference for my birthday. Then we had Easter. Then I started.
And your birthday.
Yeah, Easter. Then I started a new job. Then we went down to Cincinnati to couples camp. Then we came back, and it's just been crazy busy the last
Mother's
few weeks.
Day.
Yeah, and now we are finally at the end of May, and we can breathe a little bit, and it's time to get back to what we love to do.
I'm done with classes, and I'm on break. It just seems like now we're into a more of a rest season.
Yeah.
Where everything at once was a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we actually we talked about in our vision retreat earlier in the year.
Slowing down
and taking some things away. And as we tried to do a little bit of that, it's like all this other stuff kicked in real quick.
Well, I think in the beginning we were good.
Yeah, but then we got busy. And now we have kind of reset that, and we're winding some stuff down and pausing some stuff and just slowing it down so we have more time to devote to the things that we really feel like God's calling us to.
The thing that I thought the other day, which is funny you just said that, is someone said, "How's it going? How are you guys?" And you're like, busy.
Yeah.
And I was thinking last year when we were walking through the spiritual disciplines and the basically art of slowing your rhythm so that you can hear God, so that you make room for what he has for you.
Yeah.
That one of the things I didn't want to answer when someone asked, how are things going, is busy.
Yeah.
And then I heard you say that, and it intentionally, it reminded me of that specific thing.
And I think it's crazy because normally that's not my answer. And I think normally, even if we are, I don't give that answer. I'm like, oh, it's good, it's whatever. But I was really feeling like, oh, it's just busy.
It has been.
There's so much stuff.
And you know what I think when I feel it most is when we don't take one day of rest a week.
Yeah.
We haven't been at all lately.
No, we have been
failing
so busy.
On the Sabbath. And for a while, by taking that day, it almost just regrounded our whole week.
Yep.
And helped us for the entire rest of the week not feel so pushed. But when you take that one day out, you're left with nothing. Yeah,
and I think it's really a month into this new job, it's been kicking my butt that, 50 hours a week is a lot to go from nothing to whatever I wanted to do and all to, okay, 50 hours a week, I am tied up. And then we've got our Monday night group every Monday. And then we've got Thursday night, we've got Sunday, and we do stuff sometimes Saturday, and we do stuff other days and stuff. And it really I'm like, oh, by the end of the week, I'm just dragging. So it definitely was time to reset and do things. And it's this, we had decided when we came back from Cincinnati, okay, we're going to start the next season and stuff. And then it was just so busy, we didn't really
I have a question. Before you go on, when you just said all the things, I think a lot of people probably understand what you're saying because they have all their things, not the same things. But what would you say is the best way to combat that feeling? Or what would you do to reset? What would your suggestion be to not feel that way?
stop and just refocus on the important things. And I don't even think you knew, but last week when we were sitting at church, Pastor Pete had a great message and stuff, and he said, talking about, it's okay to be not okay, and all this other like mental health stuff and everything else. And I don't even remember what he was talking about as a message, but it really, I think it spoke to me in a different way than what he was talking about and everything like that. And he was talking about, us being busy and different things like that. Mm-hmm. And it really had me back to Matthew. Mm-hmm. And, there's so many things that in our lives that are competing for our attention. Mm-hmm. It can be our spouse, our kids, our job, our everything. And, I really thought about this verse, and I know I wrote it down and showed it to you, while we were in the message and stuff. And I said, this is what we're going to talk about this week. But in Matthew 12:30, it says, whoever is not with me is against me, and whoever does not gather with me scatters. And, we're sitting there, we're listening to that, and we think about it and stuff. He's like, oh, he's talking about, if you're not with me, then you're against me. But what does that mean? Like, we need to be with Jesus and things we do, which is exactly what it means. And we need to be that in our life. I love, my Bible and many others with a commentary on that verse says, whoever is not with me is against me. Jesus does not allow anyone to remain neutral about him.
Oh, wow. So that means that,
and that is our
decisions are a decision.
Absolutely. And that's what I was thinking, as busy as we are and just going along with this stuff. It's like,
you're still making
I'm just kind of going with the flow and letting this take my time and that take my time and
not controlling
and not controlling my time. And in doing that, I'm not doing what he wants and I'm not going with what he is calling me to do. And I think we have a tendency to do that in life, that we're just like, oh, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's not hurting anybody. I'll just go along with this or I'll go along with that. But if we're not going along with him and his plan and what his plan is for us, what his plan is for all of us to become more like him, to share him with others and everything, then we're against him.
Yeah.
Because we're just more noise that's going along with the status quo.
But people aren't thinking they are, because they're thinking they're not bringing harm. Yeah. Like there's a lot of, if it's not harming others,
then what's it matter?
Yeah.
Now, I thought that in my mind, and then I also thought about the podcast and stuff like that. How many of us do that in our marriage? We just go along with the things. Mm-hmm. We do the everyday. We go to work. We take the kids to school. We have dinner. There's events.
Sometimes
there's
just try and survive. And I know each season can become a different season, but it's easy to not stop.
Yes. And that trying to survive.
Survival mode or whatever.
Is that neutral area.
Yeah.
And
don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that if you're overwhelmed, it's always an easy place to get out of.
No, and it's not. It's not an easy place to get out.
Because there will be seasons. I think we all will be, even if we try hard not to.
Yeah, but I think the big thing is that we love that neutral position.
Because where we just kind
of, we don't. It's just kind of like
what is it, autopilot?
It's like, all right, we got to do this today. Oh, like tomorrow. Oh, it's Sunday. We got to, all right, we can get up, go to church. After that, we'll get something. Maybe we'll take a nap. We'll just do this and whatever. Monday, got to get up, got to go to work, get through this.
Not
find
this
something
Monday,
for dinner.
It's Memorial Day.
Find something for dinner, go to church, come home. Oh, it's Tuesday. All right, we got to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
We fall into that pattern where we just do it. And when we're just doing those things, we're not doing what he's calling us to do. And it's easy for the monotony to set in and for the things that we are being called to do. Read our Bible, pray, talk to others, listen to where we're being prompted and things like that. Those just kind of lose importance, just kind of fall into that whole thing where everything's just like, our goal is just to keep this even plane where we don't have to put forth more effort and we can just survive. And the danger in that is, it's like our reading. Oh, okay. I read a chapter today. I did this and I checked it off my list. Mm-hmm. Oh, we ate. I prayed. Oh, we prayed at night. But did we pray? No, we said thank you and moved on. We did. It was just a quick, nothing. And then we just cheapen what we're doing, and we cheapen that relationship
But you
with
know
God.
where I think the danger of all that is that we're not stopping to consider. And when I say that, I mean, if you just continuously are on autopilot, you never stop and make any decisions.
No.
So there's no considering and there's no thoughtfulness of it.
Yeah.
So for a while, Bible reading was a check mark. So I didn't want it to be that. So I changed things a bit. And I think that might be something that'll help me personally, is if I don't do the exact same thing all the time,
Mm-hmm.
I have to stop and think about what I'm doing. It's not a routine.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean is, for a while I changed and did meditations, and then I stopped that, and then I just went back to reading different chapters.
Mm-hmm.
And then so for me, I just changed things a bit, and then I felt so busy I fell out of it. But this last week, I started the meditations again, the daily ones,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about contentment. Like the whole week was on contentment
Mm-hmm.
and finding your hope in God and finding your joy in God
Mm-hmm.
and being content
Mm-hmm.
with your
Instead of having
situation, with what you
contempt.
are. And yes, and the whole crazy thing also is this week, what you're saying is the running, the busy, that's not content.
No.
That's chasing something
No.
and always looking for the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Contentment is in the quiet.
It is, but it's not in the status quo. And I think that's where sometimes we fool ourselves. It's like, all right, I did the exact same thing I did last week, and I'm content with that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you content with that, or are you just too tired to do something else? Are you just like physically, emotionally drained? And sometimes we sit there and we're like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And you're not good. Because over time, if we're just doing the same old thing and it's just that monotonous thing that's like, all right, this is my life. Monday I do this, Tuesday I do this, Wednesday I do this.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like listening for God. We don't feel like God's speaking to us. We don't feel like God's with us and stuff like that. Our marriage can do the exact same thing. We're just like, it's that whole like playing house thing where it's like, okay, especially if we got kids. All right, we got to do this. This is our week. And you can have it scheduled out and this is this, and this. But if you're not working on this and you're not working on this, there's no neutral.
Right. And
Like
you're
not
not stopping to consider the other person either.
Exactly. We're going to be pushing apart. If we're not drawing ourselves to Christ, we're just going to be kind of falling away.
Or running in parallel.
Yeah.
And not connecting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know at the one retreat we did last year, I made the little triangle thing.
Oh, okay.
And we talked about that. And
explain the triangle. What was each?
Kind of based on, what Mark Driscoll had said before. We have this triangle and, you've got the wife, the husband, and you've got Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way the triangle of marriage is supposed to be. And we're both working towards him.
Yes.
But we have to be reaching up towards him and pulling him down into our relationship, down into our life, down into our daily, because that triangle is actually a diamond. And the other side of that diamond is you and me and Satan. And if Jesus is up top and Satan's on the bottom, if we don't put forth effort, we're going to the bottom. He's going to pull us down. And I think that's where a lot of us live in the day-to-day, in the monotony. It's like, you know what? I just don't have that. I don't have the energy to do this. I don't have the time to do this. I don't want to do this. Mm-hmm. And if we use those things, if we just like, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the desire, I don't want to work on our marriage, I don't want to work on our relationship, I don't want to work on my relationship with God, the devil's right there and gravity's going to pull you down. You don't have to do anything. He is right there waiting for you.
Is that I think sometimes it's not even so much that you don't want to, but you put it off.
Yeah.
And you say, I'll put it on the back burner. We'll do this later.
Yeah.
We'll do it another time. We'll do it later. And there's always something that later just doesn't come for.
Yeah.
And then the other problem with later is it shows your priorities.
Yeah.
And the more
100%.
you push something away, the lower on your priority list it will fall.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what the devil wants. He wants those things just to fall down, because guess what? If we're not working together towards Jesus, he doesn't have to worry about us. He has nothing to worry about at all. We just went to Canada today, and we were coming back. We came across a Rainbow Bridge, and there was a car in front of us, and there was a sticker on it that said, "Satan loves you."
Oh, yeah, that was so creepy.
And, everybody, you see this, Jesus loves you, Jesus. You know what? Satan does love you. Satan loves you to do nothing. Satan loves you to do what everybody else does. Satan loves you to indulge in whatever brings you the most pleasure, and not to look up and look towards God, to look at your spouse.
Satan even loves you to be comfortable in your faith. Like to say,
that's
be
good.
Comfortable.
Yes.
You're fine what you're doing.
Yes.
Don't strive for more. You're good.
Yes.
Like, I think he's okay with people feeling comfortable in their routine, comfortable going to church on a Sunday and just continuing on their life and getting nothing out of it, and being that lukewarm church that Jesus speaks of in the Bible. Like, Satan's okay with that. So
because you're not doing anything.
Exactly. It's not like he is going to come with this complete evilness that you're going to be like, wow, that's so scary. Like, he could be in the unassuming, lukewarm, middle of the road trap.
Yeah. And it can be your friends. It can be people at work. It can be that bar you stop at. It can be that bet you place. It can be that drug you take, what you smoke, whatever it is. And that can be
that's easier.
A gateway. That can be something that opens a door for him to get a hold on you.
Because it's easier to fall down in tiny, tiny baby steps that you don't notice.
Yes.
And the key is you don't notice. Yeah.
And I think the more we just live in I'm okay. It's okay. We're just going to get through this. It's hard. It's too hard to do something else. We're just going to keep doing what we've been doing. The longer we live in that, the more opportunities for that fall.
Yeah.
Because we're not working towards Jesus.
Very
We want the easy. We want the comfortable and everything. But God says, kind of like your Sabbath thing, be still and know that I am God. Mm-hmm. We don't like to be still. And if we know who God is, that means we know we need to serve him. And that means we know that we need to become more like him. That means that takes work. Yeah. And that's why there's I believe so many of the lukewarm churches or the Christians who don't even walk through a church door. Oh, do you? Yeah, absolutely, I do. Do you go to church? Well, maybe Christmas, Easter, stuff like this.
Or I've been really busy.
Yeah, I've been too busy. I can't do that. Oh, my kids, we can't do that. Oh, they have
hockey.
Oh, yeah, there's baseball on Saturday or Sunday morning. There's this. There's always, and
Satan's probably a big.
Yeah, he's a big sports fan. He's huge sports fan.
He's like loving sports.
Yeah, he loves football season, man.
He
Sunday morning,
bats highly.
Absolutely.
But the funny thing you said about Sabbath, right? I think it's not even what I think is a very important part of it, of slowing down your life and slowing down your rhythm and giving you that exhale in your life and like charging you up. But also in it, you're building too, because you're hearing God's voice. You're taking the time to be still.
Yeah.
So it's like twofold. It's helping you with the busyness of the rest of your life. But I think that if you don't do that, you almost just don't take that time to listen sometimes.
Yeah. And I think that's really, really important. That be still. Just be still. We've talked about that so much. Be still. And be still in your marriage. Be still in your marriage together. Don't always be looking for that next thing. Don't be like, all right, we've got to do this, 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 this. There are seasons when we need just to be still and ask God what he wants to say to us. What is his plan for us? We talked about that in premarital, that, you know what, it doesn't matter who you are, how long you've been married, whatever. God has a unique plan for your marriage that only the two of you can accomplish together. Now,
he can accomplish that.
Yeah, don't mistake
no
it that
what.
he needs you to accomplish that. But you need one another to accomplish the mission he has for you. So, you know, you need to be
And when you have a mission together, your marriage is much more likely to be walking in the right direction.
Yes, because you are on that mission together. You've heard the calling, you feel the calling, you know the calling.
You're on God's mission.
You are working toward him together.
Down.
He is part of your relationship.
Not your down triangle.
You're just not sitting and like letting things go.
Yeah.
In that verse, I mean, you know, it's huge. Whoever is not with me is against me. Whoever does not gather with me scatters. Like, there's no neutral. And in your marriage, a lot of times we're like, you know what? Oh, well, you know what? She likes to do this. So, you know what? Oh, he likes to watch football every Sunday, and that's his thing. So, you know what? He does that. I go to church. I do this. Oh, well, he likes to watch baseball, and, well, we do this. Oh, she likes to go out with the girls every Saturday night. And you know what? Some Sunday morning, she just doesn't feel like getting up and going. So that's okay.
And it's almost easier not to have that fight, or not to address it, or not to just let it go so it falls back. And you're not saying, like, you can't do independent things ever. It's more of a...
Like, we need to be unified on
priority.
On, number one, what we're doing, like what our mission is, what our focus is, and stuff like that. But we need to continually be seeking that together.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying you got to sit down at 5 a.m. or read your Bible every day together. I'm not saying that anything like, oh, well, you've got to do this at this time. No.
And it also, like, let's be real. The majority of couples have opposites. It seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, almost, there are a few that are very similar. So the chance that God has the exact same way of studying, the exact same
music
you might put on, or no music, or location, or on your knees, or standing up, or walking, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that is very personal. So I don't think it has to be together.
It doesn't.
In the word, it could.
Yeah. If that's your thing, then absolutely, 100%.
Like you're admonishing someone for not doing it at the same time. Or
And, you know, we read a lot of the same books, and we read different books. The good thing is when we read the same books, like, we do talk about what we've read.
Yeah.
Whether it be in a small group or whether it just be the two of us reading something.
And I think it makes it easier when we do go in a small group, because it gives us not an excuse, but it gives us a really easy venue to talk about things together.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I suggest, like, couples get in that small group to do that together.
I know we kind of beat this one to death. And I mean, we really do. We in premarital, we're like, get yourself in a small group, and we talk about this a lot, because it is something that we know from experience how beneficial it can be to your marriage, because we didn't have it. And guess what? Our marriage, there were so many times when, if we did have it, if I had someone to say, hey, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? It would have made a big difference, because these are people that you choose to do life with.
Yeah.
These are people who, you know, some of them you allow to speak into you. You allow to be that person looking into your relationship, into your marriage, into your life, and be like, hey, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
Or, you know what, maybe I can help you here. Or, I've been through this. Or, can you help me with this?
And we see it after it failed for us, right?
Yeah, we saw it after it failed. The really cool thing is we see people doing it from the start.
Right.
It's like,
but we're also telling people, like, to start being intentional about the people that you are going to place into your life to engage when it gets hard.
Yeah.
Because it will get hard.
It gets hard. Because it's going to get hard. I don't care who you are.
Before it happens, properly assemble your army. Like, properly choose your, what are they? Your
what?
Colonels?
Your
captains?
colonels?
Your
captains?
What is the rank of an army person?
I don't know. What is it? We'll let you ponder that for a while. Marine guy.
I'm not military.
Oh, my Lord. God, thank you for her. She's special sometimes, but I still love her.
Military.
But yeah, you do need those people, guys. You need those guys who
I thought it
you
was
can.
going to be a good analogy, though. Like,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you
assemble
need
your army and choose your, not politicians, your captains
Okay.
of the army.
We'll keep you going with that. But I will say this.
Sergeants.
All right. I will say this, guys, you need your group of guys who share the same beliefs as you, who share the same values and everything. And, your small group is a great place for that. We 100% back the couples groups because we think it's important to do together. There's men's groups out there that do the same thing. And speaking to stuff, women's groups and different things, but doing it together, you need couple friends. You need, unity in that. You need similar friends. You need same friends. You need people, like I said, ahead of you, behind you, all around you. I think one of the really cool things that we've learned, really doing couples ministry the last couple of years is that a lot of the people who we get to do life with in our small groups and stuff like that, who come on the retreats and different things, these are people who have been married 20, 30, 40 plus years. And we garner wisdom from them. But I think the biggest thing that I have realized and I see out of it,
you admire.
These people have weathered the storms and been through a lot of life, and that they realize that, guess what? You need to be working on your marriage constantly. It's not like, oh, we've been married 20 years. We know everything.
It. We're good.
We've been married 40 years. We know everything. And that's just not true.
Yeah. I think it's encouraging that people are still willing or needing or, devoting the time to work on their relationship, to build relationships with others, and to intentionally devote time to their marriage.
Yeah. And I think that goes with this verse. Like either they're for me or against me. So if you're for God in your marriage, which he designed, if you're working towards becoming more like him, Christ-like, which we're not going to do here on earth. And I think that's why the marriage is such a great analogy. We're always changing and morphing and refining ourselves, and we're becoming better people. I'm becoming a better husband. You're becoming a better wife. And in that, we see Jesus more and more in one another, because that is the end goal. Marriage, so many people see marriage as the goal. Marriage isn't the goal.
Marriage is like the
starting line of the goal, because it's what refines you
Jesus.
And defines you so much here on earth.
Yeah, and God will build us in our struggles.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There's always tomorrow. Sometimes today seems hopeless. Sometimes today seems like, man, I screwed up so much, or you screwed up so much that this is just not worth it.
And emotionally tiring, and you might feel on autopilot, but the problem is you can't live in that season.
Yeah. And when that is the case, those days, that's when the devil's right there to pull you down. And some days he doesn't even have to pull you down. You just kind of like collapse and fall down. But that's why we're always reaching up, and we're reaching towards Jesus, because he will pull us up. So, I don't know. That's what God put on my heart this week.
No, I love it. And pretty soon, we keep saying this. We really do have so many. We literally got like
five couples lined up to be guests that we just got to make it happen.
Calendars.
But yes, and that's what we're working on. We're working on clearing ours out a little bit.
Such good stories. So really want to.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's really the encouragement through the whole thing. It's either, in your life, in the totality of your life, you're either with Jesus or you're against him. There's no in between. There's no neutral.
When you're not choosing deliberately Jesus, intentionally Jesus, constantly Jesus, then you're choosing Satan.
And that's in the way we do things. That's in the way we talk. That's in the way we spend our time. That's in the way of who we spend our time with. That's in the way that we rest and we take that time.
And therefore how
to
others
recharge.
See us.
That's the way that people see us.
Yeah.
That's how we listen to what God's prompting us and listen to the needs of those around us it does require work. And I think we live in a world that's just so fast paced and there's so much information, so much things vying for our time, so many priorities out of whack there that is what Satan loves. Just living in that middle, living in the day to day.
Yeah.
But we are called to follow Jesus, pick up our cross daily and follow him. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to be intentional about. Are we going to fail? Absolutely. The good thing is he's right there to pull us back up. We just got to reach out and walk towards him.
We can learn from that. We can get our lesson.
And you know what? Sometimes we fail separately. Sometimes I fail. Sometimes she fails. And a lot of times we fail together. But the good thing is he does not fail. And he does not.
Absolutely.
He does not love us any more or any less from the stupid or good decisions we make. And we just need to be focused on becoming more like him.
Yeah.
In our marriage, in our home, in our job, in everything we do. And, you know, he has a unique plan for each and every one of us, for each and every one of our marriages. And we just need to work toward it.
All right, guys. So we made it through.
Yeah.
And we'll be back
next week.
But have a wonderful week.
Yeah, have a great week.
Enjoy Memorial Day
enjoy Memorial Day.
This, so.
Some of y'all we will see for Memorial Day. Or at least we'll see a lot of you tomorrow.
Actually, I'm pretty excited.
I'm going to throw this up tonight on Saturday night, so we'll see a lot of you tomorrow at church.
Sunday, well, we have church, but then we also get to relax with friends too, which I think that is my favorite part of Sabbath in the summer, is when we sometimes just relax together and have no agenda or rush. Because it's not like Sabbath has to be you alone in a room. Like, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, we did one last year where we had, I don't remember how many people we had. We had a bunch of couples, and it was from like noon till like 10:30 at night, and it was great.
It was one of our most relaxing days of summer, really.
We ate, we laughed, we played games, and it was wonderful. And it really did recharge, I think, everyone there, and it was great.
Yeah, so, actually, that's a good word. It should recharge.
Yeah.
It's our recharge of the week. It's
because we need that.
It's like that electric car you saw plugged in today.
The Jeep.
The electric Jeep.
Who has an electric Jeep? Who has a battery powered Jeep? If you have a Jeep, and you know what, you Tesla lovers, that's great. Have a Tesla, have fun. But guess what? If you have a Jeep that is made to go off road, not a Jeep that these girls buy and these guys with their little fancy whatevers, they buy that they have never taken off the road. The point of a Jeep is to go off the road.
But maybe it's not
to put it in the mud, to climb something, to do something. And you can't do that when you have to plug your Jeep in. You can't.
Does it just not have power to go off the road?
I just don't understand.
Like, are you going to just get stuck in the mud?
That's just weird.
But I thought Jeeps have a tendency to tip. So why would you want to go play in the mud with a Jeep?
Anyway, my city dweller wife.
Isn't that true? Don't they flip?
Well, what does that have to do with mud?
Well, like if you're
mud goes down.
I don't know. Have a great week.
Love you guys. See you next week. Like this podcast. Subscribe. See you soon.